hope none of you are from Bethel. But before William Street was extended, there used to be a place called Vine Alley. And there was
what?
Vine.
Oh, V-I-N-E, yes.
And that's where Bethel started. It was called the Vine Alley Methodist Church. And now it's called Bethel. And I always tell the pastor, don't get upset. I know you were the first black church, but we were the first black church that was built by blacks, for blacks, from the ground up. And it is still standing. But I tell you, Bethel, I remember when you were on Eagle and Monroe, and you moved from there to Ferry. So you still haven't built the church. You gave to somebody else.
Okay.
But I thank God that God has blessed me to come here and be the caretaker of this place for many years. We bought it from Macedonia Baptist Church. Michigan Avenue Baptist Church moved to Humboldt. And we've been here. We got a lot of history. You're sitting on history. The benches that you are sitting on are part of St. Columba Roman Catholic Church. And they had a terrific fire there, the church burned down. And I knew the father, he and I were friends. And he said, Bishop, you can have all the benches you need. And so we worked on these benches and put them down. And the only thing we added is a nice cushion for you to sit on. Because you know, in the Catholic Church, you're up and then you're down. You're up and then you're down. And the only thing that I preserve as the kneeler is on the bench that this young lady is sitting on. And sometimes when I come up here, I pull out the kneeler on the second, as I sit on the second bench and pray and wait before God. But I'm glad that God has blessed me. I'm not here. This is my area of upbringing. I was born in Clinton, Michigan, in a house. Now some of you are looking at me and saying black, black, black. And you say, what do you know so much about black? Well, let me tell you a little bit about me. And then you'll settle down and you'll get to like me. My mother was Afro-American, and my father was Jewish. So now you tell me what I am. I'm just a man of God. But I'm glad that God allowed me to come to this place because it was in terrible condition when I came here. The bricks were falling out. Birds were building nests where the bricks had fallen out. At that time, I had came into a crisis. I had cancer of the bladder, and I was on chemotherapy. And in that corner of the roof, there was a leak. I had no one to fix it. And I climbed up there, and I thought I had it fixed, and twice it fell down. And I laid on the raft, just on my back, crying. And I said, Jesus, you were a master carpenter. Show me how to fix this so that the building is not destroyed. And in my mind, it just came. this, and I did it. And it lasted for several years before we could raise the money to get a new roof. But I thank God. If you look in the back, then you see that little hole up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can get up to the roof, up to the rafters. That is where some of the slaves hid. Now, when the slaves came, when the slaves came through here, there was a law that the bounty hunters could not hunt for slaves without a court order. And so the court, where our public library is now, was where the court was. And the judge there hated bounty hunters, not so much that he was for the slave movement, but he couldn't stand the bounty hunters. And if they came early in the morning when the court first opened, he first called them and said, I've got to go to the washroom, you know. And that trip would be like about 3 hours. If they came at lunchtime, he said, this is my lunchtime. And when I come back from lunch, I'll take care of you. And sometimes would never come back until the next morning. His whole purpose was he was trying to find a carrier to bring us a note and say, if you have any slaves, send them to the neighbors that are friendly to the slave movement. Now, you see all of this is all open space.
Yep.
There were houses, I know, houses. And the slaves that were the wealthiest and wanted to be close to the slaves that were sick would climb up in there, pull the rope up, and slide the door over and then jam it. But the bounty hunters never came up here, whether it was their fear of God or their respect for the sanctuary. They came downstairs, and I'll show you a picture of the original. Now, when you look up here, that archway was not there, that was a solid wall. That part was built later, but we had to get a place. Now, where our brothers first worship was at the First Baptist Church on Washington Street, which was a white Baptist church, whether they allowed them to become members or just worship there. But it was about 13, and they decided, they went to the pastor and said, we want a place of our own. And the first place they worshiped was at the corner of West Eagle and Niagara, upstairs over a mortician shop. So upstairs we're preaching life, downstairs they're taking the dead. And so the pastor sent his board members around to find a place where they could build a place. And they found this place and they went back. Now the pastor that built this place, Reverend Shaw, and I believe if you saw the marker out there, he was also a carpenter, architect, and he built this place. So this place was square. The doors that you came in, that door and that door. When I came in, I opened that up for safety reasons, so that when the doors open, we could see who's coming in. And nobody be injured when they go downstairs. All right. But that place, all of this was just this one square place. And we had worship in this place. The walls, the boards on the wall. That's some of what I did when I came in. The windows photos that you see, pictures from the Historical Society were pulled up. These are not the original windows, but made according to the pictures that was pulled up. And so there was no electric lights. We had LED lights. All righty? Now, you can come with me. We'll go down a little bit. And anytime you want to ask a question, yes, ma'am.
I have one quick question. You were mentioning a law governing the bounty hunters.
Yes.
And I just wanted to know, in relationship to the Fugitive Slave Act of 1848, which was that, you know, if a slave was made it to the north, they leave them alone, you know, they didn't try to return them back. But by 1850, the Fugitive Slave Act said that if an escaped slave was found anywhere in the U.S., that they could be taken back into slavery in the South. That's why Canada became so important. Now, so in relationship to the law governing the bounty hunters, where would that fall?
New York.
Okay,
New
this
York
was New York.
State.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Not the other states.
Okay. But it would fall maybe during that period or after
Yes,
that
yes,
period?
yes.
But just for New York State, okay.
You ready? All right, if you follow me.